It's actually one of my favourite paintings I've done all year. Whatever's in the distance is cooler. You'll see that I won't push as hard. Green's a funny colour. You don't want too much bright green. It can look a bit fake. Okay, so welcome to this video. The colours I'll be using today are titanium white, cadmium yellow, quinacridone magenta, burnt sienna, and cobalt blue. And I'm just going to start by mixing up some colours for the sky. So we're going to go for an impressionistic countryside theme from a photograph that I took in Evia on my holidays about 2 weeks ago. And I'll leave the link in the description to my Patreon page where you can download the reference photo and you can use it, or you can sit here with me today on YouTube and chill out with me for the next, I think, 22 minutes or so. So this will be a full palette knife painting. You might see my blending brush a little bit towards, well, throughout the painting, but it's a really quick impressionistic painting that I'm going to make, and I'm sort of doing a voiceover, and it's not scripted. It's just me sort of freestyling it, just talking, and as a relaxed commentary. So I'm using lots of paints, and you saw me mix cobalt blue with a touch of yellow and some white, and I think I put some quinacridone magenta in there, I will do shortly. And yeah, I have no medium or anything, and it's just palette knife. And I think the paper is about 7 inches by 7 inches. It's square. And yeah, it took me about 25 minutes to create this painting, and it's actually one of my favourite paintings I've done all year, which is crazy for a 20-minute painting. But I love this impressionistic effect, with some abstract elements in, and not being so realistic. So I usually do start mixing up all the colours, but this time I just sort of mixed up the colours of the sky for now, and I'll obviously start mixing up. Oh, there's my quinacridone magenta in the sky, just for some added interest. So yeah, I usually mix up all the colours before I start painting, but this time I just started mixing up the sky only, and yeah, using a lot of paint. Um, it's worth it if you're going to be working in this sort of impressionistic way. I'm trying to start from sort of dark blue at the top, and then it sort of fades down to a lighter sort of blue as we reach the horizon. And that's a really quick sketch that I did, if you can see on the actual piece of paper. By the way, this is an oil painting paper from Canson. I literally just picked up a crayon and just indicated. Took me about 10 seconds to do. Very quick sort of sketch. So yeah, here comes my lighter part now, of the from the blue sky. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do this painting in one hit, and I'm gonna be pretty much working over the wet paint. I applied the paint with quite a lot of pressure in the palette knife in some areas. In other areas, I apply it lightly. It depends on the sort of effects that I want to go for. So just a bit of blending now with my blending brush, and yeah, I don't do too much blending, just to tie a few sort of areas together. I also like to use my finger as well to blend, and which you'll see later. And you'll also see me fighting with some clouds shortly. Well, not shortly. Yeah, in about 10 minutes or so. And you can also blend with the palette knife as well, as I'm doing here. And yeah, just leaving those brush strokes visible and blending in certain areas of the painting. You have to blend everything out. Now here I'm making a dark mix, cobalt blue, quinacridone magenta, and burnt sienna, and I am going to make a mistake now, which I'm going to sort of fix later on, but this is sort of how forgiving oil paints are. So I'm going to lay down the bottom part of the cloud. I realised it was a bit mucky, something that I don't really want to go for today in this painting. So I lay it down, two clouds, the bottom part where it's going to sort of show some rain, and I wasn't happy with it, so I'm gonna fix that a bit later. It's also important to clean your palette knife. So when you see my hand palette knife disappear, it means that I'm just giving it a quick wipe down. Here you can see me trying to fix my mistake, but it's not working because I mean I tried to put almost white paint on top of the dirty mix there, but it didn't really work because there's a lot of paint underneath. So it's just mixing together for now. So you'll see me scrape away the paint and add more clean paints over the top of that shortly. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. You can do a lot with oil paints. It's so forgiving. Um, yeah, I mean, you know, if you feel like you've put too much paint on the surface, then you can just scrape it away, which I didn't do now. I'll do shortly, I guess. So yeah, I would love to paint and talk at the same time, but it's a bit difficult when you've got a little almost 2-year-old toddler running around the place shouting and screaming like an absolute whirlwind, and I don't have my private space. I work at home, um, so it's easy for me to do the painting and do a quick sort of voiceover um, elsewhere when I can. So yeah, I'm making a mix of purple here, but I'm using the complementary colour of yellow to sort of dull it down slightly and added some whites. This will be the mountain in the background. So generally speaking, with landscapes, whatever's in the distance is actually cooler. And then what's closer is warmer. So it's really unpredictable with the palette knife. As I said, we are going for impressionism, abstraction, and trying to limit my brush use. As I said, you'll see me with a little blending brush every now and then, but yeah, I don't want to use a brush at all. I'm trying to get detail with a palette knife. For me, it's much more interesting. And you'll see a lot of artists, you know, sit there and, you know, draw and paint, and they say, "Oh, I'm not interested in detail." Um, yeah, I get that. I understand. It's nice to be able to create detail without actually creating detail. So, you know, detail from a distance, showing off your paint strokes, your brush strokes. Um, I think that's what makes a painting, amongst other things, of course. But okay, I'm starting to mix some greens now. Um, Cobalt blue with my cadmium yellow. Again, same mix, but with some burnt sienna, just to I guess make it a bit more sort of natural looking when you are adding the opposite color of green, which is red. Just makes it a bit more natural in the distance and the foreground as well. And I think I'm going to go for a lighter green mix here. So the colors are really simple. I mean, you know, my palette's very simple. I'd say it was a limited palette. And I guess it would make the painting more sort of harmonious to look at. You can use 15 colours or so, but it gets a bit confusing. Sometimes I add one or two more colours, but again, I just want to keep it simple. I'm actually really happy with how this painting turned out. It was about 25 minutes in total, just under 25 minutes. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing. 25 minutes for a painting. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I've got some trees here on the left. And yeah, I mean, again, it's pressure with the palette knife. Um, Shortly, you'll see me work the palette knife paints into the wet paints, and you'll see that I won't push as hard, I guess, down because there's obviously paint underneath and it might sort of blend and smear all together, and that's fine every now and then. So I'm just wiping my palette knife now. So a fresh mix, just for some more to add some more punchy colours into the countryside. Uh, Yeah, so the grass isn't sort of green, it was sort of yellowy colour because it's quite hot here in Greece and have some amazing countrysides here. And yeah, the sun had just sort of I don't know, bleached the grass so it's not really green anymore. It's more of this sort of like yellow ochre colour, yellow sort of creamy colour. And with this I want some direction, so you just saw me sort of scooping the paint in that sort of direction to show that it's like crops, I guess you'd say. So these small studies are amazing for when you want to create larger paintings. It's always worthwhile doing a sketch. I mean, before the sketch, obviously, do some planning, get some nice reference photos. Sketching is fine with a pencil or whatever, or digital sketching, but I like to do these sort of sketches where you just jump straight in with a palette knife. Um, yeah, it sort of prepares me more for when I want to create something bigger. Um, but when I do create something bigger, perhaps I wouldn't use a palette knife for the whole painting. It would be an assortment of palette knives and brushes. So you can see I'm just taking parts of the mixes that I just mixed, and I'm adding whites to that just to sort of highlight the same mix. So it's actually that simple. And again, keeping the palette knife different angles. So here I'm just sort of slicing through on the side and also cutting through the paints, loading up the palette knife. And I think here I'm gently laying down the colours on top because we have colours on the bottom. I don't want to disturb that too much. So it's really unpredictable, the palette knife. Yeah, you can aim to get an effect and it won't go to plan. Hence, I mean, the clouds earlier, that was a good example. So, which I'm going to fix shortly. But yeah, oil painting is really sort of forgiving. And yeah, I'm going to add some trees here shortly on the left. What am I doing there? I was blending out slightly there. So again, I use the blending brush for some soft blend. But if I want a really hard sort of transitional blends, then I use my little finger. I never used to use my fingers, but I've started to recently. It's good fun. Just make sure you wash your hands afterwards and don't put your fingers in your mouth. Here, palette knife, some trees, the bark of the tree, just by using burnt sienna, touch of blue, you can make a nice dark color with those two colors there. So again, if you're looking for the reference photo of this, then you can find that on my Patreon page. I'll leave the link in the description below. Again, reference photo, okay, it's there as a reference. It's not for me to copy completely. Obviously, this is an impressionistic countryside landscape. So you'll see the reference photo as obviously a realistic photograph of fields and mountains and sky, but it's there just to help us out with composition wise and colors. So I'm just blending out some parts into the distance there with my finger and my thumb this time, and just added some interest, so a bit of darks and light into that sort of crop area. Okay, so to the clouds. I start by scraping away the two clouds, the paint from that, so I can layer hopefully on top of that. And you'll see me make another mistake now, because what I did now was wrong. I don't know what I was thinking, but I think yellow came out here and I thought, oh my goodness. So, okay, we can scrape that away and try again. So, not to worry. I think it was when you're working with paintings like this, don't overwork it, don't overthink it. That's what I did here on the clouds, and it took me back a little bit, an extra few minutes. For example, I'm mixing pink now. I'm not sure why I'm mixing pink. I think I wanted a bit pink at the bottom of the cloud, so I didn't want to go too dark. So I chose pink instead, which I'm going to fix again because I wasn't happy with it. If you overwork your painting with a palette knife, then you risk making mistakes and not, it's supposed to be more spontaneous. Here wasn't so spontaneous, so I had to overwork it and fix a few things, which is fine. It's all fun. It's all practice, and yeah, and it takes me back to when you want to work on larger paintings. So these small studies are important to sort of, I said, test out the waters, I guess. So I will come back to the clouds in a minute because, again, I'm not happy with them. So yeah, lightly brushing down some burnt sienna and titanium whites into that green, just for some added interest, make it a little bit more natural looking. And yeah, direction of the palette knife here to indicate a viewpoint, I guess you'd say. Indicate those crop marks that sort of head out towards the distance. I've got two palette knives, by the way. I've got a small one and really small one at hand. Okay, so back to my friends, the clouds. I'm going to try and introduce some of that darker mix I had earlier into the pink, and I still wasn't happy with it. I thought it looked a bit muddy, a bit too dark for this small, beautiful little countryside painting, so I scraped it away again. Well, I will scrape it away again. Okay, fifth time now, or sixth time. Scrape it away again, and we should try again. I think I did it really quickly. How I fixed it, which again could have saved about 3-4 minutes or so. Try and keep things simple. So I just added some more titanium whites to my palette, and I think I just picked that up. I picked up a little bit of dirt as well from the previous color mix of the clouds, and ended up just sort of using pretty much titanium white because it will mix slightly onto the surface. So it's not exactly titanium white, pure white. And then I just blend some of it at the bottom, and I'm really happy with that now. It's got that abstract quality, which I really love. Those sort of sharp edges and soft edges. Also really important in the painting. One of many things that's important in the painting. But yeah, I love playing with edges. Just a bit of that brown to complement those greens and make it again a little bit more natural looking. Green's a funny color. You don't want too much bright green. It can look a bit fake. So it's nice to, you have to be careful with greens. It's nice to add some variation when it comes to your values as well, and your color complementary, your complementary colors. Tripping over my words here. Um, so again, some thicker paints, almost, I'd say highlights now, and just adding in a bit of detail. And I just want to cut away a little bit and have some, I don't know, a bit of light at the top there. Really, just cut away and just to divide the distant trees with the crops. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed the painting. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified for when I upload my next video. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.